Hi friends, it was sure good to see those of you that could come to church last Sunday. Soon, maybe we'll all get to be together. We're going to continue with our story about Moses. This week we're going to talk about how the Israelites are going to cross the Red Sea. When we left it 2 weeks ago, they had just had the Passover where they had put the blood around the door and God had the angel of death pass over them. And there were so many dead Egyptians, they finally said, "Get out of our land." And so the Israelites were finally free to leave. And so this week, as we pick up on our story, the Israelites have left Egypt and they are traveling through the wilderness. And they've never been there before. They don't really know what's going to happen. And we've been talking about how God takes care of us. Do you remember that when I say God takes care of us, you're going to say, Amen. Let's try that. God takes care of us. And again, God takes care of us. But this time, shout it so your whole family hears it. Are you ready? God takes care of us. Great job. So God had a special way he was going to send the Israelites through the wilderness. He sent a great big pillar of a cloud that they would follow during the day. And when the cloud went, they went. When the cloud stopped, they stopped. And at night, there was a big pillar of fire. So he was taking care of them. That's right, God takes care of us. By the cloud and the fire, they always knew that they were following God. And they walked and they walked and they walked. And at night they would camp. They would fix some food and walk and walk and walk and walk and walk. And finally, they got to the edge of the Red Sea. And the Red Sea was so big that they looked one way and the other way and across, and all they could see was water. They didn't know how they were going to get across. But something else was happening too. All the Israelites had left Egypt, and finally the Pharaoh thought, wait a minute, we lost all our slaves. We don't have anybody to do all the work. And so he and all his chariots, he had 600 chariots. Every chariot in the whole land had an officer in it, and they began to race after the Israelites. So the Red Sea is in front of the Israelites. The Egyptians are coming up behind them, and the people are like, what are we going to do? Did God bring us this far for us to die right here? But God takes care of us. And he was ready to take care of the Israelites too. So with the Egyptians behind him, the Red Sea in front of him, Moses went to God, and God said, Moses, you're going to raise your walking stick and see what happens. And so Moses raised up his walking stick, and the Red Sea split down the middle. So waves were up as high as can be on each side. Now, if you move water and it moves, or after rain, or after the snow we had, is the ground dry? No, it's muddy. You bring the mud in the house, you can play in the mud. But one of the miracles was, as this Red Sea split, there was dry land. And there are so many Israelites, about as many maybe that live in the whole state of Idaho. And they were all going to cross the sea on the dry land. And so Moses, as long as he held up his stick, the Red Sea stayed split. So they traveled across that the dry land, and they were all right. The pillar of cloud that had been in front of them, God moved it to behind them, so the Egyptians couldn't really see what was happening. It was like darkness for them. As the Israelites got to the other side, and the Egyptians said, we're going to, and they began racing out into the Red Sea. As Moses put his stick down, the Red Sea came back over, and all the Egyptians died that day, because God takes care of us. That's right. He took care of those Israelites because he has wonderful plans for them, just like he has wonderful plans for you. So as you go this week, I want you to think about something. I want you to think about when things seem impossible. Maybe somebody's dying. Maybe your best friend won't talk to you. Maybe you have to move and things feel like impossible and you feel trapped like the Israelites did. Remember that God takes care of us. That's right. So keep holding on to that. On your Take Count flyers this week, there's a great airplane. So as you fly those airplanes, keep thinking God takes care of us. We'll see you next week. Hopefully, a lot of you can come in person. Bye.
Hello, hello, hello. It's your totally tubular buddy, Tina Termite. Get it? Tubular. Our houses are filled with lots of tunnels like tubes. We run through them non-stop to get stuff done. It's like a tubular maze. I've noticed your tubular tunnels look pretty fun too. We stay super busy because we never ever sleep. Part of the reason we never sleep is because we eat all the time. Do you like to eat? We can eat and eat and eat. We don't only eat wood either. Whatever we happen to be eating, we eat a lot of it. In fact, some termites can each eat as much grass in a year as a cow. Wow! And a colony can be made up of 100 to 1 million termites. So imagine all of us chowing down nonstop, day in and day out. Speaking of food, I have a joke for you. Ready? What did the termite say to the chair? Nice gnawing you. Get it? Gnawing you? That's a wood one. I mean, a good one. All joking aside though, here's what we can remember. God always takes care of us, and he always makes a way for us. God made a way for the Israelites too. In the book of Exodus in the Bible, you could read about how God made a path right through the Red Sea. His people walked on dry ground. Talk about tubular. God made a way for his people to leave Egypt. And God always makes a way for us too. In the Bible book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 31, it says, "If God is for us, who can ever be against us?" No matter what, God makes a way because he loves us. Remembering how God has taken care of us in the past can help us trust God for the future. Remember when God helped you go to a new school? Or when God helped you get used to a new bed? Remember when God gave you what you needed and sent people to help you? God did it before and he'll do it again. God takes care of us. I'm glad I got to hang out with you cool humans for a while. You are pretty interesting creatures. But now it's time for me to get back to work. Gotta munch on my lunch. Goodbye.